that the taste of good and evil things depend in large part on the opinion we have of them. There is an old Greek saying that men are tormented not by things themselves, but by what they think about them. For if ills can only enter us through our judgment, it would seem to be in our power either to despise them or to deflect them towards the good. If the things actually do throw themselves on our mercy, why do we not act as their masters and accommodate them to our advantage? Hi everyone, welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. I am Kritika and this is Michel de Montaigne. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I rehearsed it like 20 times before starting the video, so pardon me if I'm doing it wrong. But well, as Shakespeare said, a rose by any other name would smell as sweeter. So let's not go by the name, but what lies beneath all the thoughts and retrospection that I came across. How did I land up on this book? I landed up on the acknowledgement section of Essays in Love. When I finished that book, I was reading about it and what inspired L.N.D. Botton to write the fiction in an essay format. And there he mentioned him and how he took it as an inspiration, how his essays, the structure of essays and the literary genius that Michel de Montaigne was. And he drew out so many inspirations from him and transferred them into his book in Essays in Love. So that's how I landed on this. And ever since, this has been like my bedtime reading thing. Sometimes I do pick it up in the morning, but I do not want to because then whole day I keep dwelling on the thoughts that I read. For those who are not aware who Montaigne was, so he was a child of French Renaissance and he started writing in 1500s, early 1500s, and at an early age he had access to good academic life, good rich life. He learned Latin and Greek at a very early age. He got introduced to law studies and then he went on to work in different government jobs in different various positions. Those jobs required for him to travel a lot around the places, which henceforth introduced him to a lot of people. He made a lot of observations and he sort of belonged to a rich background. His uncle had an estate which he dearly loved. Whenever he would come back from work, he would make sure that he locks himself up inside that estate and in isolation, in solitude. He wrote all of this down, which thankfully we have access to. He has written pretty much about everything. Like the chapter that just opened up in front of me, the title is How We Weep and Laugh at the Same Time. He has written on childhood, on education, on educating children, on fathers with children, and such basic topic like one of the essay title is The Art of Parleying is Dangerous. Parleying means to discuss something with someone on any or a particular disagreement. Something that we might not even think about for 20 seconds. And he has created all the thoughts that how humans disagree with one another, how we take disagreement, and different humans, they have various approaches. Some might be curious about why they are disagreeing with the other person and they will ask questions. Some would get defensive. I'll read something from the chapter called On Affectionate Relationship. He talks about relationships, love relationship and friendship relationships. And he merges the two and he speaks about how friendship and love can result into something fruitful and how the lack of friendship and love can something result into very devastating. He writes, I must admit that the flames of passion are more active, sharp and keen. But that fire is a rash one, fickle, fluctuating and variable. It is a feverish fire, subject to attacks and relapses. While the love of friends is a general universal warmth, temperate moreover and smooth, a warmth which is constant and at rest, all gentleness and evenness, having nothing sharp or keen. The point is that you might agree or disagree with him, but that's okay. That's a good experience to have while reading such books, that this is not a source of truth, and reading such books gives us an opportunity to realize what we resonate with and what we do not. We might agree with something and we will say, yes, I agree because this, and I disagree with this, yet I understand, because we can see where the author is coming from. There is one book which I'm currently reading, the Hunan Dong Bookshop, if I'm pronouncing the name right, it's right there, Hunan Dong Bookshop. And there the two characters are having a conversation. So the protagonist of the novel owns a bookshop, and they are having a conversation that how important it is to self-reflect while reading any book. And does everybody do that? It's not necessary that everybody does that, and more importantly, not every book is written with that purpose, that everybody will read it and self-respect and just think about the world and philosophize every line that is written in it. But it also says that a person who might have read hundreds and thousands of books might have knowledge about the world, but maybe they do not have such a deeper understanding of themselves. On contrary, with a person who has perhaps read just 15-20 books, and maybe they self-reflect more, they question more, they ask questions more about why and how and their likes and dislikes, and they can have a far better understanding of themselves. Like he has written something on a similar line. So the essay title is On Solitude, and he writes, he was told that some man had not been improved by travel. I'm sure he was not, he said. He went with himself. So he talks about like how the presence of others and their opinions can help you shape better. Such simple words, and this is not it's a literary genius, but it is not difficult to read. Like, I have not read much, I have not dwelled so much in philosophy books, so I wasn't sure that whether I will be able to understand it or not. So this is like my first thorough reading in philosophy. If you feel like you are not able to get a hand of it, there are like historical references which I don't understand. If you do not understand, that's fine, but you will get the gist. But if you do want to start with philosophy, check out Charu's recommendation here. She has done philosophy books for beginners, and that's a good one. And maybe you start with that, and maybe later you come back to this, whatever you like. But do come back to this. This has such good things. My favorite one is the essay titled "To Philosophize is to Learn How to Die." Cicero says that philosophizing is nothing other than getting ready to die. That is, because study and contemplation draw our souls somewhat outside ourselves, keeping them occupied away from the body, a state which both resembles death and which forms a kind of apprenticeship for it. And he goes on to say, we do not know where death awaits us, so let us wait for it everywhere. To practice death is to practice freedom. A man who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave. Life has no evil for him who has thoroughly understood that loss of life is not an evil. Man, he has such intellectual coldness in him, and yet he's very approachable. It was such a refreshing read. I have read a couple of essays over and over again, and I find something more interesting. Like, I've highlighted with different bookmarks. This was my second reading probably. Like, this is almost like a journal entry. I'm not sure if he wrote it to be published or he wrote in a manner that somebody might read it. Because he used to think that people should, which is contrary to what I'm doing right now. He used to think that people should only read what others have written once they have known their own mind. Which is such an interesting take, because sometimes we get to know ourselves better when we read books. I mean, all book readers and most of you might agree to that. So it's you might disagree with him some points, but that's the beauty of this book, because we are so used to finding relatable content or it being forced upon us that we do not see the other side of the picture. And when you read certain kind of books, it kinds of makes you more empathetic, or just makes you more cordial in living with disagreements with people. That's my takeaway, and I'm reading it. I take a break a few times. I'm reading a couple of other books as well, but I'll finish it off. Let me know if I do the third part of the book, and if you want to read it along with me, I can probably read out more quotes if you like. But please do read it. Please add it to your reading list. If you do not want to buy the full version, the complete essays, a lot of other edited versions are also available where they have selected essays, and online essays are also available. You can listen to a lot of audiobooks as well, whichever suits you. Do read it, and I will see you next time. Thank you.